All right, so today we're going to focus on slope. Now, the steepness of a line is how you would give the definition of slope. That's actually what it means. So when you think about slope, you think of maybe a mountain or a hill. You can also relate it to skiing, right? When you go up the mountain, you go down the mountain, or you're just on like a bunny slope, whatever the case is, right? You think about the steepness. And the steepness for skiing tells you how fast or how slow you're going, or how hard it's going to be to get up the mountain, if you're hiking even, right? Versus down. So now let's look at this. On page 18, you're going to circle the line with the biggest slope. When you compare those three lines that you have, you notice that the last one has the biggest slope. It's the steepest. So what we mean by biggest is which one is the steepest slope. And then the variable that we are always going to use is going to be m, because of the French word monter, which means actually to climb or to rise, which makes sense, right? When we think about slope now, you're going to want to remember this little slogan. You want to rise out of bed before you run. Because what this is going to help us remember is rise over run. When we want to count slope or calculate slope, whatever the case is, we always do rise over run. This can also be known as the change in y over the change in x. Another way is a ratio, right? Ratios can be represented as fractions. So the slope is represented by a ratio of a line's vertical change to its horizontal change. Again, it only means rise over run. That's the key term that you're going to want to remember. Rise over run. That's going to help you. You might even want to draw this little chart that I'm going to draw off to the side. So you have rise, which is the vertical change, which is up or down. If we're going up, it's positive. If we're going down, it's negative. Divided by or over run. Run, you go horizontal, right? You can either go left or you go right. If you go to the right, it's positive. If you go to the left, it's negative. This will help you with those signs. Now, another thing you might want to remember and write off to the side is, remember slope dude? If you watch the video, you'll know that when you're going from left to right, just like you read a book, from left to right is this line. This slope is actually positive. As slope dude would say, it'd be puff, puff, positive, because it's hard to get up the hill, right? And then you have the red line, which is negative. It's nice negative because it's a little bit easier to get down the hill. When it's a flat surface, it's called the zero slope. And then the term that we all, it's the horrible curse of math. It's an undefined, right? It's like saying, I just fell off a cliff. It's an undefined slope. It's not a slope that you can just ski on, right? You need a rope and you need a bunch of other gear to help you. So when we want to calculate slope, right? We're not going to focus on actually doing math right now. We're just going to count a little bit, just like we did in kindergarten. So you want to start at the point that's farthest to the left. And we're going to color code this. If you want to color code it, you absolutely can. Start to the point that's farthest to the left. On this graph, it's this point. So we're going to start there. We want to find the rise. So we want to see, okay, do I have to go up or down to the next point? I realize that I have to go up, right? So I'm not going down. I'm going up. I'm going, whoops. Oh no. Little bit of a malfunction, but that's okay. Just got to get back to the page. Okay. So since I'm going up the mountain, I can see I go up by 2. So it's a positive 2. Up by 2. A positive 2. Do you see how I drew those two lines? Now I have to find my run. I see I have to go to the right. So I'm not going left. I'm going to the right. I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, positive 5, right? Remember, write these words down. If it's up or right, it's going to be positive. If it's down or left, it's going to be negative. So this one is a positive 5. That means when we take our information for our slope, we have m equals rise over run. So that means it's going to be positive 2 for our rise over a positive 5. Our slope is m equals 2 over 5 for this graph. That's how steep it is. It's 2/5. So what we're going to try and do is the next 4 together. So now, if you want to, you can pause the video, or you can pay attention for a couple of more while we go through it. So let's go through my steps. I'm always starting with the one farthest to the left. I'm going to find my rise. I realize that for this rise, I have to go down. 1, 2, 3. I went down by 3. So that's a negative 3 in my numerator. Now, I notice I have to go right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. So my final answer is going to be negative 3/4 as my slope. Let's go to the next one. Start on the one all the way to the left. I'm going to find my rise. I notice that I have to go up. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So it's a positive 5 for the rise. And then I notice that my run goes to the right, positive 1. So that means my slope for this one is going to be 5 over 1. And actually, that can be simplified even further. So I get m equals 5. The nice part is we can actually keep all of our slopes in fraction form, right? We don't want to turn it into a mixed number or a decimal. Just keep it as it is. Make it even simpler on yourself. All right, let's go to the third one. Start on the one furthest to the right. Now again, remember, you should do these on your own before you actually check your answers to see if you're doing them correctly. So now we go up 2 for our rise, positive 2. And we're going to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. Now, again, if you don't want to write on the graph, you don't have to. You don't have to write positive 4 or positive 2. It helps you. It helps me to color code it. Now, I notice this slope is 2 over 4. I can simplify that to 1/2. So slope is always in simplest form. But it can stay a fraction, right? You don't need to turn it into a decimal or a mixed number or anything like that. And then the last one, furthest to the left. If you start on the right, you'll still get the same answer, but it'll start to get confusing because you might go run first before rise, which is why we stick to these steps. Start furthest to the left. My rise is down by 5. And my run is to the right, positive 1. So my numerator is negative 5. And my run is positive 1. So my slope is equal to negative 5 over 1, or negative 5. So let's just write these steps down. Let's just write these steps down so that we have them. All right? So, step 1. Start at the point. Farthest to the left. Step 2. Find the rise. Now I'm also going to draw these arrows, right, for my hint. Up means positive, down means negative. Because then my third step is going to be to find the run. And again, I'm going to put those arrows, that line, to help me. This is negative, that's positive. If I continue to follow these steps on a graph, I'll be able to find any slope.